let's check out. Well, I see myself on Facebook. That's getting there. Everyone, I'm kicking off the stream. All right, and then one last. This is what I have to do every time we go live. I usually try to do this in recent weeks off air, but today I go live. I usually try to do this. However, this is a casual show. We don't have too much to talk about today. We have big things happening in a little bit, but I can't show it to you because of a bit of a change in downtime plans that I can talk about here in just a second. I can't do the... I mean, the hardcore rewards have been on the website for a while, but the pictures of them, you're just going to have to wait till you can get them. We are not going to be providing that spoilery info to you. I will say that that'll be available later today. But the rewards were listed last week. It was a little bit early, so... Alright, let me get the show going. Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am DDO's Community Manager Cordovan, and it's just me on camera for a short show today. We're just going to probably go something like 10-20 minutes. Reason being, all the game worlds are down for a patch. That patch being update 29.5 and the release, when we come back up, of our 4th season of the Hardcore League. Might and Madness is the name that we ended up going for. I might have suggested Fred's Revenge, but maybe it was a little too inappropriate because it wasn't really about Fred. It is, however, about Mind Flayers. I can't even call up the release notes, actually, now I think about it, because all of our services are down. Let me see if I can get to this one. So, we have an unusual downtime today. Normally we do about 9 to noon. Today we're doing 11 to 3 p.m., which is a little bit of a weird downtime. Reason for that is we're having to coordinate with some folks in California. And so the downtime is more of a West Coast downtime than an East Coast downtime. That's why it's a little bit later today. What specifically are we doing, though, is we're taking the first of what will be a few steps before you probably see anything. But we're working to update our email opt-in and opt-out system. This would be for things like newsletters, sales promo flyers, whatever kind of stuff, you know, you want to sign up for related to our messaging that we do to email. For a couple of years now, it's just been kind of in a iffy state. You know, you've had some issues signing up. We've had issues getting you all of these newsletters on time, etc., etc. So, we're doing some work on that. And like I say, it's a little too early for you to see anything. We have a few more steps yet before you see anything. But the end result will be, ideally, I think, let's see, let's hope, it's going to be an opt-in and an opt-out system that you can just opt into and out of and change your email if you want to, etc. This is also part of a wider plan that we have to hopefully do a little bit of work. How do I want to say this? What do I want to say this? Oh yeah, related to things like password resets, things like that. Like I said, we're not there yet, but we're working on some stuff behind the scenes, kind of email related, infrastructure related, and that's why the downtime was a little bit longer than normal and also at a weird time today. So we do have update 29.5 being released, and I think I actually can go through the release notes in just a little bit, but I don't know that we're actually going to be all the way till 3 p.m., although it's possible. Like I said, we do have to coordinate with some other entities, so how long the downtime is only somewhat under our control here today, but the goal is to be up by 3. We will be up by 3. We might even be up a little bit earlier. And then that'll be the start of the 4th season of the Hardcore League, Might and Madness, which runs through June 29th. It's taking a while to get to the notes because I have to go through a weird way to get to it. It's because all of the services are down. Not just for DDO, but for the other game as well. Everything like, DDO.com, the forums are down, the website's down, games down, authentication, everything is just down for the next couple of hours while we do some work here. So, here we go. Oh, actually, is this it? Yes. Okay. Update 48 patch 5 release notes. These are for today. I can't put them up on the screen because of where I'm reading them from, but there we are. This is when we're going to be bringing in the mount stable. Collecting and summoning mounts will now work similarly to cosmetic pets. We've been showing that off on the live stream in recent weeks. You can see the mount UI once you have a mount in your stable. Similar to creature companions, the tab will show up on your character sheet, and you can just swap on over to it, and it works very, very similar to the way creature companions work in the game. So, a new tab in the inventory menu. All the mounts you've redeemed on the server, regardless of which character redeemed them. Similar to cosmetic pets, and that's kind of nice too. That means we're largely doing away with bound to character mounts. So we'll see what we end up doing there, long term. But that's what's going on short term here at least. And then you'll just double click on the mount from your mount stable or drag its icon into the hotbar and use it from there, just like you have been. You can also just that's right. DDO Store, keeping the Borderlands bonus items bundle will now grant a medium ingredients bag instead of the small wondrous mount bag. This will be delivered upon logging into all those who previously purchased the bundle. We've been getting a little bit of feedback on that you folks would like us to up it from a medium ingredients bag. Obviously, that's not something that we can just sort of do on the fly like that. It does involve, like, say, a game build or whatever. But we have been reading that feedback, and I see... We'll see what we can do there. If we can, we'll double check the kind of price equivalency and then make an adjustment there if we need to. Enhancements: half elf, warlock dilettante will no longer sometimes just kill everyone. Kill all allies. So congratulations, also sorry. Feats, offhand versatility's Orb Rune Arm effect is now on Vorpal Strike while single up and fighting. For the next 5 seconds, all of your spells are going to automatically crit. Quest and adventure areas, we fixed a typo. And then we brought in the Season 3 leaderboards in the Hall of Heroes here. And the vendor is now XIX, which is Zix. XX? I'm going to have to check the pronouncer on that. The Hardcore Season 4 vendor. That is going to be quite the name because for me, I was fun. Is it fun? Allegedly fun fact. In the mid-2000s in Indianapolis, I was in a okay, but not great, but we weren't really trying to be great, cover band. Kind of bar-style cover band. And what was our name? XIX. So when I saw it on the name of the vendor, I was like, "What? You mean like my old band name?" Yeah, all right. So there we go. Totally had nothing to do with it, however. All right, let's take a look at chat. What use will the mount bag be when the stable comes? It will be for naught. We are replacing it because we're replacing that entire system to make it way better for everyone. And so we're replacing the Wondrous Mount bag with currently a medium ingredients bag. And that's going to happen automatically. And then you'll just be using the mounts from your stable like usual. Or like the new usual. All right. Hello from Spain there. When will we make a permanent hardcore server? No real plans to do that. Where's the cuckoo clock? Thank you, Gary, for bringing it up. Unfortunately, I have some bad news for everyone. I'm afraid our long-standing cuckoo mascot may be gone for good. I don't know what happened, but it went off once on a live stream. And some people in chat, not this game, but people in chat started kind of slinging some insults about my cuckoo clock not being on time. Some troll was like, "Cordo can't even set his clock right," that kind of thing. Whatever, it's fine. Anyway, mysteriously, after someone on a live stream insulted the cuckoo, a few hours later, it stopped working, and I've not been able to get it working since. Now, I'm not saying that the cuckoo is actually some kind of sentient spirit inside of that long-standing cuckoo clock got upset and decided not to cuckoo anymore. But it sure seems like that's what's happening because I can't get it working. So we'll see if I can get the cuckoo clock working on that thing or not. And if you're the person who slung said insult to poor inanimate object, cuckoo, I hope you feel good about yourself. All right, there we go. Making a bigger deal than it was. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. All right. I don't have an announcement on Feywild for DDO points yet. All right. Are we really not going to show people what rewards they are working towards on hardcore? So we never have. We could, but historically we've left the visuals of the rewards outside of maybe the easiest to get cloak. We've left that kind of up to others to discover and let know about. And then, after we're live, once we actually have a kind of a call to action that people can respond to when we're doing our kind of promotional mailings and things like that, promotional email campaigns and social media campaigns, etc., we will probably have an asset or two for that. But not... in terms of pre-hype, it was a little strange. We saw some people on the forums this time around kind of want us to do a little bit more pre-hype, even though there really wasn't anything to do about it in terms of call to action there. Typically, you don't do pre-hype unless there's a call to action, but, hey, whatever. Regardless, this time around, this season, we had a lot of demand for actually showing the rewards this time, ahead of time. That, like I said, that kind of goes against what we and the community have wanted, which is don't spoil it. So we can take a look at that. We could do that maybe in the future. So, why did we remove the extra lives at levels 8 and 16? You get the permadeath challenge, but just curious about what you've learned from the past hardcore server. Really, so each season of hardcore is intended to have its own sort of rules. There are some rules that persist generally through each season, but for this particular 4th season, we're not doing the extra lives. I would expect that to come back someday, somehow, for whatever reason it makes sense. But we had heard from the community last time that some people liked it, some people didn't like it. We wanted to give the didn't like it another chance to take a look at it, and we'll be doing what we usually do in terms of kind of getting a sense of how successful the hardcore season has and see what the results are, right? So if it gets as much participation, that kind of thing, and the community is like, hey, we prefer it with no extra lives, that's fine. We'll certainly take that under advisement, and then if ultimately something else happens, we'll learn from that as well. So that's really the goal on the hardcore season. But in terms of why no lives at 8 and 16 this particular season, it's really just a function of community feedback. We heard from enough of you in Season 3 that you're like, hey, it's cool that it's not just VIP only, although there's a few people who would like that too, but it's cool to bring everyone in, but can we just have the one life thing this next time? And so that's really what we're doing this time around. Crystal Cove, I don't have an exact date. I would expect it to be later this year, maybe sometime early summerish, but depends what we end up being able to do there. Michael on Facebook, I will have to pass along to the itemization team about a bug with the augment and dryad vorpling at 500 instead of 5,000. It looks like just a 0 got misplaced or not added somewhere. All right, let me head on over to YouTube here real quick. Did they fix the floor in Spies yet? Half people are going to die in there. Well, the answer is no, because as far as I'm aware, there's no bug. If there's a bug with some kind of electric floor, are you talking about the electric floor? That's working as intended, at least as far as I'm aware. Yes. However, running Spies in the House on hardcore is certainly something you're going to have to think long and hard about. And there you go. Yeah. I know my audio is slightly out of sync. Unfortunately, I don't have a solution for that at the moment. I keep on trying to mess with milliseconds on the video feed to sync it up. I went a couple milliseconds one way, and then I went a couple milliseconds the other way over recent weeks. Nobody was really noticing because it was out of sync to begin with. And I still don't have it nailed in, so I can't really tell whether my audio is slightly ahead of the animation or not. It's just hard to tell sometimes when you're looking at this on your own. I could do some kind of thing where I go, see what happens there. Maybe I've just solved it. All right. Is the steed a horse? Yes, it is. Wait, we have email newsletters. Yes, actually, we do. We didn't do a lot of them in 2020, although we did do, I believe, 3 or 4. So about 1 a quarter last year. As opposed to our more regular pace, which we typically try to do. In part because the system itself has been struggling with proper data management. I mean, it's all secure and everything. It's just you can't adjust it once it's in, so without someone manually doing it. So anyway, that's all getting worked on. But yes, we do typically release at least newsletters for most of our big releases, most of our big sales, and for a while there, we were even letting people opt into getting an email version of the DDO Chronicle, which actually did pretty well for us. We had somewhere at one point about 20,000-30,000 people signing up for that thing, and then due to infrastructure issues, we simply couldn't format it anymore into an email way, an email that was working display wise with a bunch of different email providers. Like it looked okay in Gmail but bad in Outlook, that kind of thing. And we never quite fixed that one up. So, and then eventually I believe we moved away from it. But the intention is to maybe bring something like that back in the future for those who'd like it. Did I say 29.5? I meant 48.5. Today is update 48.5. Duncan Thrax, and I'm not going to get too distracted on cuckoo clock stuff, but you had mentioned to get it to a clockmaster. I actually did get a reach out on Twitter over on the other game side, kind of because it was they're even more, for whatever reason, they just are more annoyed / love the cuckoo clock. And so I actually got a tweet. Someone replied to me as like, hey, I'm a clockmaker in, I think it was Northern Connecticut. Or Southern Connecticut, rather. And if you actually are interested in getting that clock fixed, I could take a look at it. I just don't know that I can afford the services of a master clocksmith. So I don't know that we'll have to see what we can do there. I don't know what that costs, but I know that it's a huge skill, so they're surely worth it, right? But, all right. It's true that in launch day hardcore streams in the past, I've shown them off on day one, so I do get that. As opposed to, say, putting them up on social media and the forums a couple weeks early. So I do get that I have usually shown them off on the live stream. The only reason I'm not doing that right now is I can't. Because our downtime got pushed over the live stream time here, and all of our game services are down. So I couldn't do it even if I wanted to. There's just simply no way for me to show off the hardcore rewards live, as it were, on the spot. So, in terms of, I guess just real quickly back to the extra lives thing, though. The original impetus was to respond to some feedback and just kind of data gathering that we had received from past Leagues of Hardcore, which is that having that 1 extra life or 2 extra lives, if you get all that way up to 16, helped with some of the frustration level that a few people experience in Hardcore, where, you're not bad at the game or anything. But maybe you get to level 7, bam, you die. Okay, great. Now I've learned not to do that. So now I get to 7. This time I get to level 9, and bam, whatever. And maybe there would be a lag death, or maybe there would be a, I don't know, whatever. Something would happen. And someone would basically say, like, I can't do this again, and just kind of bounce. And that's fine. Ultimately, people can play as much or as little hardcore as they'd like to, right? I mean, we're not like, we don't have some goal to like keep everyone on hardcore or anything. But we do want to address people's frustration points. So if when we heard a lot about that, I was like, I don't need to put my skills to the test to get through Korthos again. I know how to get to level 5. I know by the time I've done it, 3 or 4 or 5 times, I know how to get to level 8. It's fine. But what I'd really like is a freebie, as it were, kind of a chance to correct one little mistake. And it just made a big difference in terms of actual participation in the 3rd season of the Hardcore League. However, we also, like I said, we heard feedback on both sides about, is it more hard? It feels less hardcore for some people, and some people were like, I like it, but it's fine if it goes away. So we thought we'd do it that way this time, and just not do the extra lives this season. Yeah, I know my camera is shaking, and I don't know why. It normally doesn't quite do this. But I'm getting some kind of bounce from something on my desk that I'm not normally getting. So, whatever. Whatever, man. I can't do anything about it. So I actually did not just get up in the last hour. I've been up for a while. Thank you, Magenta. But I would mention I am technically on vacation today. I'm just working anyway. So, because I want to be here with you. And it's a fairly short, easy show to do because we're all just kind of hanging out during downtime. Honestly, the whole Warlock killing party members is pretty awesome, says someone on Twitch. How else are we going to troll our friends? Well, let me introduce you to Grease. Please add a new tab on the inventory page for cosmetics, just like the mount staple. We would love to do something like that. We've talked in the past about some of the challenges we have related to a cosmetic tab. That fundamental issue being that items don't know their cosmetics. Even though there are some things that we can differentiate it, right? If you look at the general kind of brains of the system behind the scenes, we don't have a way to display just cosmetics through a tab-like interface. We could, but it would essentially be tearing down and rebuilding the entire cosmetic system of the game. We may end up doing that someday. There have been kind of thoughts about maybe actually doing that. But we'll see what happens there. Ultimately, that's why we don't have a sort of quick cosmetic tab, is there's some fundamental compatibility issues that we have to build around before we can offer that to you. And it's frankly just a huge amount of work. Xaviavi is having an issue with the free VIP skip on sagas not working on the saga list to complete the saga. I myself did that about 2 weeks ago. So either this is a new issue that cropped up with the most recent patch, or there might be something else going on there, Xavi, because I myself did just that a couple weekends ago. Heard the snap before the fingers. Okay. Just real quick on the delay thing, one of the weird issues I have is that when I look at my XSplit, like when I'm looking at this thing right here on the screen, it's not delayed. It's only delayed for some reason in post, and I have to figure out why it's doing that, but I don't actually know why it's doing that yet. Either way, I'm trying to compensate for it, so. Nothing to announce about sorcerer trees at the moment. 5-piece ender set is still killing people. Well, there you go. Another way to troll. We'll have to take care of that, sorry. Craig, you should be able to replace an expired credit card with a current one. And that would be not now because it's currently down, but normally that would be through myaccount.standingstonegames.com. Or, actually, wait a second. That's not true. I lied. In-game, through the DDO store, through the store interface. That's where you update your credit card nowadays. And you would replace an expired credit card with an updated one there. If you need to completely remove any kind of card on file, then you'll want to get in touch with account support. And I believe you can just do that through help.standingstonegames.com. It's true, I do not have any Infinity Stones, so that snap didn't do anything. Hopefully. Cosmetic armors tab, same kind of issue with the cosmetic weapons tab or any kind of cosmetic tab. We would have to re-engineer the system in order to make it compatible with something like that. And now I am heading over to YouTube. Sorry, I've got a lot of chat today because it is just me on camera. Makes sense. There's some lobbying for a spell components bag over on YouTube. I know that we would love to do something like that as well. The issue with that one is a little bit different, which is that they are recognized as spell components, but they can't currently be used from within a bag. So there's a pretty significant engineering work that has to be done in order to allow consumable components to be read and consumed from the kind of bag that is being used engineering-wise in the code. So could be done. But it would, again, be a pretty significant re-engineering task in order to allow it. But it's a different engineering task because that time is more of a usage compatibility issue rather than a what is it compatibility issue. Well, I kind of like that idea, which there's some cool stuff there. Anyway, I like the chat there, YouTube. Thanks. I'll as soon as I get an opportunity, I'll bring forward that idea. I wonder if we could somehow do a thing where they're just simply read as omni spells or something, and then it wouldn't matter. Maybe it's an interesting idea. Let's see. You don't want to use them through the bag. You just want storage. I don't think that's true though. Not for spell components, right? Because what are you going to do? That means every time at the start of your dungeon, either you're going to have to drag them into the thing, or if they auto-gather, you're going to kind of have to keep pulling all of your component kits out of the bags mid-combat and stuff, and that's not really what anyone wants, right? So... I mean, I don't think that necessarily solves the problem. I don't know is the answer. I don't know. I think the usage problem is just as much there with Omnispell as it is with any other spell component. But I don't know if simply saying, well, can we do it for one rather than all of them, if that suddenly makes it easier, that would be something I can approach and the team with and get some feedback on. So there we are. Or just remove spell components altogether. Well, we could do that. We could. We could. It's not very D&D of us, but we could. wow, a lot of feedback. I'm just trying to find the next topic. We must eliminate spell components. Really? Really? I mean, I definitely get the convenience factor, but it's very not a D&D, you know? No, Kaita, we do not have pictures up of the hardcore reports. Magenta, I get what you're saying on YouTube, but that I don't think that would work how you think. One stack in inventory and a spare stack each in the bag. That could happen, but what could not happen under the current scenario without a complete re-engineering is the spell components going from the bag to your inventory. There's simply no way for that to populate automatically under the current tech being used. So what would happen in that case is you would run out of spell components mid-combat. You'd have 1,000 spell components on you, but you couldn't use them unless you opened up the bag and manually dragged it from the bag into your inventory again. And that has historically not felt like a system we should be debuting with. I mean, anyone could just take eschew materials. People don't, though. You know. Yeah. How much would it cost to make DDO with a new engine? It depends how much it costs to make a modern video game nowadays. I don't know. Lots. Basically, it would be the same as making a whole new game. The idea that you can kind of unplug and plug in game engines maybe works in a few first-person shooters or something, but certainly would not work for a game like Dungeons & Dragons Online. I don't have news about when the DDO points are coming back to the market. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a valid bit of feedback there, Magenta. If like you and enough people were like, hey, we don't care if we have to pull components from our bags mid-quest. We don't think that's going to be a problem. We'll just do it between quests. Maybe. I can bring it along. Yeah. Or pass it along. There's at least one person okay with it, and probably quite a few others. I'm not quite sure what I'm not understanding some of the chat in Facebook asking about my age. I don't understand. I got a little gray or whatever. Anyway, any thoughts on a VR version of DDO? Not really. There have been some people over the years who have been able to get DDO working in VR, with like some kind of trickery in that. And what the general feedback has been, it's not very functional. Because the UI would need to be redesigned to work in VR. Under a current scenario where you're basically taking the screen and then bring it up to your eyes, you end up with this situation where the UI is so in your face, like it feels like it's kind of in front of your face, rather than sort of a more tailored VR experience where they move that stuff kind of out and back and things like that. And so there are some kind of, I've seen some video of people playing DDO in VR, and in general, it actually works. Like, theoretically, if you play with no UI elements, it actually looks pretty cool and totally works. It's just that with all the additions of the UI stuff, it just doesn't really function what it in a way it needs to. So. Am I going to get level 20 this season? Oh yeah, totally. I've never done it yet. This will be the year. Every year, or every season, I've been doing a little bit better. And I got to about 12 last season. And we'll see how I do this time. If I can get to 20, I would love to. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so anyone who's concerned about us not showing the hardcore rewards, it's true. So I guess what I meant to say when I say that we haven't shown them in previous seasons is we haven't shown them ahead of time. We have shown them day of on live streams when possible. And we've used them in assets for them in actionable social media posts, things like that. But what we haven't really done is given you a photo gallery of the cosmetic rewards several weeks before going live. And that is, I know, what we've had quite a few people this season particularly. One person in particular has been very heavy on the forums promoting the idea and has got some people on their side. So perhaps in the future that's something we could consider. But it is a little bit of a change from what we've done historically. Oh, my son is back there. I'm actually technically mostly on vacation this week, and this is his spring break, and so we're hanging out and having fun and doing some cool things. But I'm here today because we are big day on DDO, right? So I got things to do. We got a big downtime happening with both games as well. So I'm here today for that and a few other things. So. Con Weasel says, "Are we fixing customer service?" We released a message a few weeks ago, or a few days ago, or last week. When was that now? Anyway, acknowledging that we have had some technical issues in the past couple of weeks that reached a critical mass to the point that service was being disrupted to the point that we had to get the word out about it. I am happy to say that we have largely resolved those technical issues, and now it's just a matter of getting caught up on the backlog, which is pretty significant. So we are making progress on our recent customer service issues. We additionally have, I believe, converted 2 temp employees to full-time now, as of literally today. So that'll be a few extra, an extra 16 hours or so of customer service availability during the week, etc. So we are making progress there, and we do have other steps that we do want to work to take. We do recognize that it's not ideal right now. Hasn't been for a little while, and that's something that we really do want to make some forward progress on as soon as we can. When are the bow changes expected to hit live? Current target is update. Let me make sure I get the numbers right. Yes, current target is update 49 on the bow changes. That should be fairly soon here. Yeah, fairly soon here. I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but part of the technical issues is just one of several technical issues our CS agents were dealing with was like an inability to actually look at anyone's inventory. Clearly something they need to be able to do when doing customer service. And we've been having tools issues, up the wazoo. So it's just kind of been a problem in recent weeks, but we're working on it. And as of recently, that's resolved, so. All right. How do we follow up on feedback on the changes to the Archer? How did you follow up on feedback on the changes to the Archer? I did the test with 3 different builds. None were playable, and many shot as Terabad. So we talked. Actually, there's a bunch of posts on the Lamania forums, specifically from our development team, talking about the changes that we have done following feedback. We are doing additional changes that Steel Star, I believe, talked about this week a little bit on the forums, right? Raising some general DPS and a few other issues. So I'd refer you to the forums there to get the latest as to post preview 1 changes. Update 50, Alpha Nerd and Jack over on YouTube is currently slated to be the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, our next classic dungeon. And as we stated in the producer's letter this year, it's going to be a mini expansion. So we'll have more information about that in the coming months. But yeah, Update 50 is going to be a pretty big one, because it's a mini expansion for Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. All right, let me head on over to Facebook quick. Wow, you guys are keeping me pretty busy here today with questions. All right. Can you open on Elite on Hardcore with Astral Shards if you aren't VIP? Yeah, I guess you technically could, couldn't you? I don't think we will see too many people doing that, but yeah, I think you technically could. We don't have a specific system in place to prevent that for Hardcore that I'm aware of. All right. All right. I think we're probably getting pretty close. I managed to kill about 45 minutes, did I not? I could do a couple things here before we... Actually, I can't, because of the same thing I was just telling you about. I can't actually access the tool, so I can't tell you what the bonus is. How's that for a thing? All right, well, fine. I guess I'm not going to do that then. Latest word on our work. We're starting data import and pushing app code. All right, well, there we go. So things are working. And we're on target to, as of 12:44, to be up by 3 o'clock. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching the weekly Wednesday Lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'll be back next week with a more traditional show. Yeah, I'll be on Hardcore, and we'll see what we do there. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you all again next week. Bye-bye.